students, I'm back with our next class. In today's class, we are going to discuss ribosomes. Okay. Now, ribosomes, they are the protein factories of the cell. That means they are the site for protein synthesis. Okay. Now, let us start from the very discovery of ribosomes and discuss them in details. Alright. Now, see here. The discovery of ribosome was done by George Palade in 1953 in animal cells. Okay. Now, they appear as dense particles in the cytoplasm and are made up of RNA and protein, and hence they are also known as RNP particles or ribonucleoprotein particles. The most important thing regarding ribosome is that ribosomes are membrane-less cell organelle. They do not possess any membrane. Okay, like the endomembrane system was single membrane, mitochondria plastids were double membrane bound. Here it is non-membrane bound. Alright. Now, types of ribosome. Ribosome can be of two types, okay, based on its sedimentation coefficient. Like in prokaryotes it is 70S type and in eukaryotes it is 80S type. Okay. But structurally, the ribosome would be in both prokaryote and eukaryote consist of two subunits. The smaller subunit and the larger subunit. Okay. The larger subunit is kind of dome shaped, whereas the smaller subunit will be ellipsoidal. Alright. Now, the larger and smaller subunit, they would remain together only during protein synthesis. When the cells or the ribosomes are not participating in protein synthesis, the two subunits would dissociate. Okay, and also a specific ion concentration of magnesium is very essential for the two ribosomal subunits to get together. Alright. Now, see this. For prokaryotic ribosome, that is 70S type, if you ask me what is S? S here stands for sedimentation coefficient. Okay, in the centrifuge, how much time it would take for the subunits to sediment out. Accordingly, S means Swedberg unit, which actually means 10 to the power minus 13 seconds. Alright, 10 to the power minus 13 seconds. Alright. Now, prokaryotic ribosome being 70S type, it can be again divided into smaller subunit and larger subunit. Smaller subunit is 30S type and larger subunit is 50S. Okay. The smaller subunit is hence made up of 16S rRNA and 21 proteins. After all, it is RNP particle. RNA and proteins would make it up, isn't it? So, it is 16S rRNA. rRNA means ribosomal RNA. Okay. rRNA and 21 proteins that makes up the smaller subunit of prokaryotes. Also, the larger subunit of ribosome on the other hand, for prokaryotes would be made up of 23S and 5S rRNA and 34 proteins. Alright. Do remember this specificities. Okay. How many proteins, which particular rRNA, that would be very important for you to remember. Likewise, moving to the eukaryotes, eukaryotic ribosome being 80S type, it has a smaller subunit of 40S, larger subunit of 60S type. Alright. Now, larger subunit consists of 18S rRNA and 33 proteins, whereas larger subunit consists of 23S, 5.8S, 5S rRNA and total of 40 proteins. Okay. Understood this? Do try to memorize this. This is going to be very, very important. Alright. Now that you know basically the structure or the nature of ribosomes, finally we reach out to the function. Now for the function, it is the site for protein synthesis. Ribosomes would be required for protein synthesis in the cells, and free ribosomes, which would be freely found in the cytoplasm, they would be helping in the synthesis of non-secretory proteins or structural proteins, whereas the ER bound ribosomes, they would be synthesizing secretory proteins or globular proteins. Okay, so the nature of proteins that are formed by different types of ribosomes would keep differing. Not only that, do remember in a eukaryotic cell, ribosomes inside the mitochondria and inside the plastids would be 70S type, whereas in the eukaryotic cytoplasm it would be 80S type. Okay, the cytoplasmic ribosome is called cytoribosome. Inside mitochondria it's called mitoribosome, and in case of plastids we call it plastidoribosome. Okay, so for eukaryotes, the mitochondria plastidal ribosomes are 7ts type, whereas for cytoplasm it is 8ts type. That's very important for you to remember. Alright, and finally it is the protein factories of the cell. We refer ribosomes to be the protein factories of the cell. After all, it's the site for protein synthesis. Alright, so I hope all of you are clear about it. In the next class, we'll start with cytoskeleton. Thank you.